What is up, everybody? This is TB3, episode 64. A lot of news to cover this week, guys. Some stadium talks with the Rays. Lightning are battling, finally getting back to their winning ways, it seems like. And the Buccaneers, can they turn it around and get to the postseason? We will find out, but we got a lot to discuss, guys. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Who would have thought that we're leading the show with Rays in November?
It's the identity of Tampa Bay, man.
I know Joel's excited for this episode. There's a lot to talk about stadium-wise.
It's inevitable. We can't really ever not talk about the Rays. And even episodes that we don't, like there's nothing to discuss about the Rays, we'll say Rays by accident. Mm-hmm. We'll use an analogy like with the Rays, something like that. So
baseball's life.
We were founded on the Rays. That was our first sport we covered. We did Rays. They're part of our hearts, and they might not be part of our town much longer.
Yeah, I'm already looking forward to becoming a Marlins fan, guys.
Ooh, man.
I'm mixed up. They're not going to be a part of our county much longer.
Well, I guess we'll get into it. So, a lot of stuff has gone down with the Tampa Bay Rays and their stadium. As you guys know, about a month ago, Hurricane Milton came crashing through the west coast of Florida. And it was the first hurricane to hit the St. Pete, Tampa Bay area in a long, long time. And that included damage to the Tropicana Field roof. The roof, we had a piece of it. We had it on the show. Mm-hmm. The roof was torn off, a bunch of pieces. Not only was the roof torn off, but there was damage inside to the club areas, to just everything. Everything was wet because there was no roof to protect it. And it was crazy winds, crazy storms, something that us, even though we live in Tampa, we experience like hurricane warnings and stuff like that every year. We never, have had a straight up full force, full frontal hurricane. And we got that pretty much with Hurricane Milton. And it was crazy to see the roof of Tropicana Field get blown off. So since then, we found out a lot of things. We found out that Tropicana Field, the repairs were about $55 million worth in repairs to Tropicana Field. As we know, the St. Pete City Council approved a vote to build a new stadium in St. Pete, but Pinellas County vote had to be delayed because of the storms. And with the $55 million repairs to the Tropicana roof, we also found out that the Rays were not going to be able to play in Tropicana Field in 2025 for the baseball season. So we had to figure it out. Where are the Rays going to play? How is this going to affect the Rays stadium deal? And we got our answer. The Rays would be playing in Tampa Bay, in Steinbrenner Field, the biggest minor league stadium in Florida, right across the street from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Yankees facility. The Rays are paying the Yankees this year. As of right now, the highest paid person on the Rays roster is the New York Yankees. Saw that meme. Ha, very funny, guys.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty funny. But with that news, some complications came about when it came to the Rays' new stadium deal. And today we found out that the Rays were going to, instead of focusing on 2027, they were going to push their focus of a new stadium in St. Pete back to 2028, and the wording was if at all. So basically what we're seeing is another Rays stadium plan falling through in front of our eyes.
Yeah, it's super complicated to even add on more to it. The Pinellas County Commissioners were going to vote to approve on it. It got delayed, obviously. And then there was something really important that happened the first Tuesday of November. No, it was not Maction. It was the election. And there were certain new commissioners who got elected in the Pinellas County Commissioners group there, the board or whatever you call it. Some of them not so high on the Rays deal, not so high on the high costs of taxpayers, what they would have to pay and cough up for renovations or a new stadium, thinking it could go to some better uses. And then it seems like, the Rays aren't really sold on that deal either. They send a letter out today to the commissioners before they were going to vote on the deal or vote to delay the vote again, and basically, kind of threatening them, not seeing like it really seemed like from you can go online and read it. It's all over just about anybody you follow. We could probably post it after the show if you want, but really seems like even if the vote today, this is Tuesday, November 19th, even if the commissioners voted yes on the deal, it doesn't seem like the Rays are willing to play ball. Looks like there's going to be some new parameters or something we don't know what is. But both sides, in my opinion, have not been working together. A lot of silence from the Rays, which is disappointing.
Too much silence.
And then a little too much negativity from the commissioners. I'd say if you're going to blame anybody, of course, there's always one go-to, that's Stu Sternberg. If you're going to blame other people, both sides for sure. Don't just blame one, because both are at fault for this, in my opinion.
I think you got to just blame Stu on this one. Like, come on. Like, how many hurricanes did we just face? 2? We just faced 2 hurricanes. And he's like, nah. We can't postpone this vote, baby. No, you got to do it right now. I don't care how many houses have been damaged. I don't care what's going on with the roof. We got to vote for this now. And when they back up and say, no, like, let's take a reconsideration of how much damage St. Petersburg is facing, like between the beaches, between the water walls, like the walls around the downtown and stuff like that, like all that kind of stuff. Like, it would be foolish for us to be doing this. So for them to back up and say, we're just going to take a minute on this, and now he's like, no, forget that. You guys can't wait a couple months. So I put it entirely on Stu.
Yeah, and it's shameful that the Rays did that, because not only in the letter, one of their complaints was that the deadline was delayed, even though, again, there was a major hurricane, something we haven't seen for decades.
Well, and Helene had major effects, too, in the Tampa Bay area just because of storm surge. So there's 2 in a less than a month span. It was a crazy time. So, yeah. You can
and come to find out, the agreed deadline to vote on this stadium is still March of 2025. Yeah. So I don't understand what was the point of the letter today, the point of the Rays to kind of say, yeah, this ain't going to happen anymore unless some stuff changes.
Stu's just out of touch.
Well, also another thing to blame Stu Sternberg for is, I don't know if I have the full sources. I have kind of the idea. But very soon, before the storms actually, the Rays scaled back their payment for insurance for Tropicana Field. And because of that scaling back, the insurance wasn't able to cover the repairs. And obviously,
it was like not even half.
They scaled it down to 25. I think it was 75 initially.
I think it was 100. I've heard 100.
It was 100.
Yeah, it would have been enough, because, like we said, it was $55 million in repairs. But now it's 25, so they would have to find either money from the Rays, taxpayers, stuff like that. And it's like, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting situation, because we know that it's like some of us, me, I was like, hey, let's just build a stadium early. Let's get it over with. And it felt like the stadium was a done deal just a month ago. It's just very crazy to see that change.
Yeah, it's disappointing, and it doesn't. In my opinion, I like being the Jolly Roger on the show. I like having optimism. I said on the show, when the deal first kind of went through, the first kind of major voting passed on it, I said right here, I said that, my kids are going to see Rays baseball in Tampa Bay. Maybe it's not in Tampa, but at least it's in St. Pete, and that's what I'm happy for. And now, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure we'll see Rays baseball at all anywhere in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think to circle back to kind of this season, what's going on this year. The Rays are going to be in Steinbrenner Field. Like we mentioned, that is right next door to Raymond James Stadium. This Steinbrenner holds about in between 10 to 11,000, depending on how they renovate it, if they add extra seats, what's available to the public, demand, all that stuff. Got to show out. This is the first season ever that the Rays will be in Tampa. They will be the Tampa Rays. And this is something that a lot of Rays fans have been calling for years, and we're getting our opportunity. It's 1 year of it. And let me ask you this question. Do you guys think that anything that the Rays fans can do, team, demand, is there anything they can do to change the outlook of having the Rays in Tampa, not Tampa Bay, in Tampa for the foreseeable future because of this 1 year in Steinbrenner Field?
Well, it's really about showing up and selling out. I mean, the Rays averaged about 17,000 last year. That's that's a pretty solid number, and now you're significantly less than that. I really think that the best way to do it is you sell out every game. You sell out every game. I don't care if it's a Tuesday night versus the A's, you're going to that game. You're going to, because that's been the biggest complaint of everybody. And, it's too far. I hate crossing Howard Franklin. I hate crossing Gandy. Too bad during rush hour, this and that. Well, here's your opportunity to put your money where your mouth is. And I think it'll answer a lot of questions. It'll answer a lot of questions for me, because I personally think you spend like a normal ball club would, and you put it together a World Series roster, you'll get fans no matter where you play.
How though?
And so I am going to. This is going to be interesting for me. It's a big study for me. Me personally too. I am from the Pinellas County area. I've lived there a majority of my life, and now I live on the Tampa Bay side. And let me just say, going to St. Pete was not that bad from my house. I could take the veterans right to the Howard Franklin, and it really was honestly quicker. You're not sitting in that traffic from 19 to switch to Gandy to get on 275. You bypass all that.
I'm just excited, man. Like I've been chanting for this for years. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect storm for the Rays, you could say. And we're here. We're doing it. Like the box seats, like the luxury boxes, those are gonna sell out quick because we're finally where all the organizations are. Like let's make this happen. They're gonna take down a lot of the Yankees stuff, so this is gonna feel like the Rays ballpark. From what I'm hearing, the team store is gonna be the Rays team store for the year. Like
better be.
There's gonna be some Yankee stuff in there. Like let's just face the facts.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the
like
Rays have opposing fan gear in the Tropicana Field, so it's not
true.
different.
It's true. But man, like this is home. We're going home.
Yeah, I think the Rays have an opportunity to actually maybe even make more revenue than what they normally do. I know it's a smaller ballpark, but
the $5 tickets are going to be $25.
Yeah,
so.
the tickets are going to be.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to hear
sucks.
about like revenue increase from this season if you just jack up the prices to everything.
But
I disagree with that.
But if you jack up the prices and people still go, I feel like that proves something. Do you not? I think that proves something.
If they're selling out every night, yeah, I would agree.
No, but yeah, if they're jacking the price up,
if they're not selling out and they're
different.
raising the prices, and it's,
I get that.
$50 for a stinger dog.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that there's an opportunity here for the Rays. I really do. I think there's an opportunity for the city of Tampa, for the people who are Rays fans. We hear all about the number of people on the Tampa side of the Bay as opposed to the Pinellas County side of the Bay. We hear about all those differences. The demographic. There's more of the younger, middle-aged group in Tampa Bay. That's true. We can all agree on that just from we have lived in this area for our whole lives. That is true, but how much does that really affect Rays baseball attendance? I don't know, and we're going to kind of get our answer. Because, again, I wish this was a bigger ballpark. I wish there was a more plausible way, which we'll get into in a second, to maybe move some games over next door to Raymond James Stadium and see how that would work. But I think that with the revenue, with the energy, with, again, those games where it's the Red Sox, it's the Blue Jays, it's the Yankees. How are those games going to go out? Are those games going to still have the same type of split fan-wise, 50-50? Or is it going to be more Tampa fans because it's on the Tampa side? These are just things that I'm asking questions because I don't know the answer to them.
So that's a scary, scary question for the Yankees and Red Sox because with the tendency that the Rays have of pricing those games out of Rays budgets, that game's probably going to be 100% Red Sox and Yankees.
Maybe, but maybe it won't.
That's kind of scary, but everything else is good.
But maybe it won't.
Hopefully. That's the thing. It's like, how are the Rays going to handle this? Are the Rays going to handle this, like, looking for pity, like, trying to get everybody to feel sorry for them? Or are we going to go into this and be like, boys, we raised the roof. We're outdoors now. Welcome to Tampa. We're about to party. We're about to party like it's AA. Like, are they going to do something like that? I don't expect them to. But if they go into this and set the culture with, like, a atmospheric experience where people want to go, like, this is going to be awesome.
When I also think it's maybe good that the stadium deal is not set in stone because I think if the stadium deal was set in stone, you knew you were going back to St. Pete, and you're just playing this 1 year in Tampa, I don't think you would go through the same measures that you would if you're really trying to feel out a city. If you're trying to feel out, like, how the Rays in Tampa would be. Like, it could be different, but I think the Rays, can use this. This is a huge opportunity of a year. This is a huge opportunity of a year to find. You had something bad go wrong, something bad happen. You had a tragedy happen, but now you have an opportunity to test something out, to see what the Rays look like in Tampa. And I think the fact that there's no stadium deal set in stone might help them get a little more experimentative. There we go. Maybe not try to price the fans out. Maybe see what they can do. Maybe with deals, with organizations like you mentioned on the Tampa Bay side. Maybe doubling up. Maybe doing some partner deals, like a doubleheader on a Sunday with the Bucs later on in the season, like stuff like that. Like it'll be interesting to see how they approach this, because I think that'll be a key to seeing if they're really thinking about staying in the Tampa Bay area. Because if they're not, what does that say? That says they got one foot out the door to me.
Mm-hmm. Nashville 2025 ticket packages, or I guess 2026 ticket packages. It's probably we'll see that towards the end.
Where's the positivity, man?
The Trop.
We're going to Tampa, baby.
I hope so too.
I will say my closing thoughts at the end.
So I bought this shirt out of Irony, but I'm wearing it with pride today. It's like this plant out the door. We're going to Tampa. We're building right next to Raymond James. They're gonna put a retractable roof on that puppy. We're sliding it back and forth. I'm to the moon right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. What percentage chance would you guys give the Rays play at Raymond James next year?
0.
I'll go 2%.
I'll give 5. What do they do in a playoff situation?
I would kill for that, but I think you'd have to do you would need to do some. Well, here's what I want to know. I guess is how are the Savannah Bananas playing
that's
there
what I'm
in
wondering.
April? We'll have to see because what I've heard from all the insiders, all the experts, all the guys around the Rays is that if the Rays wanted to play there would have to be renovations of some sort that would cost money, be expensive, require work and time for Raymond James. But then again, how are the Bananas playing there?
It's gonna be a joke.
Are they just putting up you see at the baseball fields at the park, I think Safety Harbor, that's one I can think of where they put up that blue kind of fabric-y fence.
Oh yeah.
For baseball season, would it just be something like that for the Bananas? I don't know.
So my thought is like the Yankees wall, Yankees right field's really short. I'm betting Raymond James is going to be 50 to 75 feet shorter, and that's the joke of it.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, there might have to be a way where they build a wall in front of the seats. But I mean, that's possible.
Or what if they tarped off 6 rows or something? All those were ground rule doubles.
I don't know.
That'd be funny.
I don't know.
It'll be fun to see.
It'll be we'll know what it looks like at least, which is very interesting.
Everything's just coming.
I just think no matter where
it kind of is.
Yeah, no matter where you put the diamond though, you'd have to take some seats out for one side of the field. Or else you'd have something really short.
That's what I'm saying.
Left or right.
They're either gonna play it off as a joke. They're gonna have a ground rule double rule
for the Bananas. Yeah,
they play it as a joke, ground rule double rule, something like that.
That's the most likely scenario, and we kind of get affirmed that it can't be played in Raymond James, but we don't know. It'll be interesting to see they play. It's March or April? Is April?
Believe it's. I don't know,
but it's in the spring.
It's sometime around then. I kind of want to go.
I'm going.
Maybe TB3 we go shoot some content. Get a first review of it. See if it's plausible for the Rays.
Maybe.
Although it won't. February.
No, that's not it. That's something else.
Oh.
So I guess that's. Will, you had closing thoughts? What it is?
March 15th and 16th.
March. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just not optimistic, chat. I really just don't see a good outcome from this. I think, one thing, watching the meeting today with the council, an idea that was brought up was just extend the lease on the Trop and play there some more years, so then it would make renovations more viable as an option. I could see that, and then we're still, getting into the 2030s, still wondering when the stadium deal's gonna ever take place.
I love the Trop, so I'm fine with that.
It's America's ballpark.
I would love that too, but I also just kind of want to get this over with. I'm just sick of it. But I really just don't see a lot of good outcomes. I also think, like you guys were talking about is, make it a good environment, this and that. Well, I still think, you want to get the younger generation. You build winners. Build a winner. Build a team that can compete, win it all. That will bring the most fans out, I guarantee you. We saw it with the Bucs. We saw it with the Buccaneers. We looked at this team back in the 2010s that they could not get fans to show up, that the games were blacked out here in Tampa Bay. You couldn't even get it on TV. You couldn't even watch because nobody would show up. They were terrible. They're the laughingstock. But you build a winner. You build a winner. You bring in Brady. You do something like that changes your franchise. And now everybody I know is a Bucs fan. I didn't have that growing up. I didn't know a lot of Bucs fans growing up, but I do now. All those people who weren't are Bucs fans now. And I think with the Rays, you really want to build fans. You want to have a culture where people want to come and support you no matter where you go. To push for Tampa, even if it's not St. Pete, is build a winner. Build a winner. Build a team that can compete.
I don't buy that, though, because the Rays have competed.
Yeah.
You could tell me that the Rays didn't they made the World Series in 2020. They've lost a lot of playoff series in a row. I get it. The Rays as a team have disappointed me. Since 2020, they've disappointed me every year. They've underachieved, in my opinion, every year. Playoff series did not work out. They still went to the playoffs. They won 99 games in 2023.
They're still going to the playoffs, but you got to be honest with yourself
games.
that this team
games.
won't win. Those teams were never going to win.
2021 was a World Series level team, and
they got bounced first round.
Yeah, because it's baseball. It's baseball. Stuff like that happens every single year.
The cybermetrics just don't work in the postseason.
You still have to work.
Getting the ragtag room full of guys does not work. It might work in the regular season. It just won't work in the postseason.
That's not true.
It won't work.
It's not true.
It won't work.
All right, let me paint a different picture. I feel like the Rays have always, in a way, have been destined to just live in the shadows of failure. Like you think about the failure of bringing in the White Sox, bringing in the Giants, bringing in the Athletics, bringing in the Mariners, all those different teams. Like every time, failure, 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 failure. You build Tropicana Field, and 2 years later, what comes out? Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Now Tropicana Field's a failure. You get your team finally. Woo! You get Vince Naimoli, one of the cheapest, worst owners, potentially second to Stu Sternberg, maybe, possibly. So all these things are just playing into the Rays are losers. The Rays are losers. Look at the Red Sox and Yankees, early 2000s dynasties, Rays, last place, third place, all that kind of stuff. So we've never been in this moment where it's like, yes, we are the stinking Tampa Bay Rays. So I was like, yeah, I'm a Rays fan, actually. So we have to build that identity of being a winner. And this is the perfect moment. We say goodbye, say sayonara to the Trop. We're gone. We're too cool for that dome. Like if we were to be able to start building a culture of winning when we're in Yankee Stadium, we could be like, yo, Yanks, we crashed the party. We're crashing. We're wedding crashers. Like if you were able to build up all this kind of stuff and you solidify a deal with Tampa and you start to build that stadium, you're like, look what's across the street, boys. That's our new home. Like if you were able to build all this kind of fun stuff, and finally we could have some pride being Rays fans. Because even in those winning seasons, we had Longo, we had Crawford, the St. Pete Waterside Stadium, that fell through right around that time. So again, the embarrassment of being a Rays fans there. And time again, all these different failed stadiums, that's always lingering in the back of our minds as Rays fans. And then we know Crawford's out the door next season anyways. So there's a potential, there's a possibility. Stu can sell this and just leave. And there are ownership groups that want to take over this Rays team, and they'll build it in Tampa. And from there, the rest is history.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this. I agree with some of the things you said, Joel, but I don't agree with the Rays are built on being losers. Ask an MLB fan that's not a straight casual, an MLB fan that watches, at least a couple games a week, doesn't be a Rays fan, anything. What do you think they think of when they hear the Tampa Bay Rays?
Crappy stadium.
They think of a team that does the most with less out of any team. They think of a team that is always there. You don't know the players' names, but they win.
Poverty franchise?
No, they don't.
But
that is not
win.
true.
They don't win at all.
Who cares?
And they can't win it all with it. I care. I want to see them win. They're not going to build a fan base if they continue to do this. If it's a slap in the face to the fan base when you get rid of Randy, when you get rid of guys like that, year after year, you don't bring back the big guys.
That's fair.
You're never going to build a fan base like that.
Okay.
Just because you can build a winning regular season team with a bunch of nobodies, that doesn't mean that that's going to bring fans in year after year. It's proven that it doesn't. You have stars. You have familiar guys. You have guys that kids grow up their whole lives. Look, I mean, I was 6 years old when Stammer was getting into the league. I've known him my whole life. That's a hero. That's a Tampa Bay hero. I mean, I think of the generation now below us. Levante David, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
They've been here forever.
Yeah.
The teams have made a point to re-sign them or getting stars, getting Brady.
I agree. I completely agree with that point, and I think that the Rays definitely alienate their fan base. We talked about it. Every kid that I talk to, I work with kids, coach them, little kids, elementary school. Because, hey, what's your favorite baseball player? Randy, and then a week later he gets traded. I completely agree and understand that point. I just don't think the fact that you can't tell me the Rays are a poverty franchise and a losing franchise. That's never been what they've been since.
But we are poverty. We're the
We're
third lowest
poverty-
payroll in the
poverty
in
by
baseball.
And you
choice.
still
Poverty
have gone
by
to the
choice.
playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. That's not poverty. That's the opposite of poverty. That is elite class organization,
so what
terrible
if you
ownership.
can get there? You just embarrass yourselves when you do.
That happens to
Building
the
on
Orioles.
the sting of being a Rays
The
fan.
Orioles were first in the AL East for most of the year. Brightest future, smoked in the playoffs. Same thing happened to the Astros this year. It happens in baseball every single time. Baseball is such a hot and cold sport. You can't tell me that these were bad playoff performances. But the Rays were in the World Series just 4 years
But what's
ago.
the difference? The Astros will go out and get better players. The Orioles will go out. They'll get better players. They have an owner.
Yeah.
They have an ownership group who's committed to getting players. They added at the deadline. They got big-time names. They have a good farm system. They're set
The
for the
Rays
future.
have the number one farm system in baseball.
Okay, well, again, if you don't add anybody else to help them out, you're just going to be waiting around and hoping maybe 1 or 2 years it all works out and you can all keep them together.
And the clock starts day one. One day closer to being traded or being a free agent.
Exactly.
I can't get on the. I can get on the other things you guys said. I can't get on the Rays are a poverty losing franchise.
And I'm not saying that's like that always has to be the way. Like Vince DeMoli, he was so hated around Major League Baseball because of the lawsuit and all the other things, just being an unfriendly, unkind guy. That he got kicked out as the Rays owner by Bud Selig. So the same could happen. Rob Manfred could very well say, Stu, I can't take this anymore.
Rob Manfred doesn't have a spine.
And he should.
He
It's
should.
been
He won't
20
do it.
plus years of this kind of stuff. There are people chomping at the bits to be the owner of this team. You're done. You're out.
If
Get out
Rob
of town.
Manfred had a spine, he would go into Major League Baseball, would help repair the trop, and be fine. And they wouldn't have 2 teams playing in minor league stadiums full time this year. But
if
Rob
that-
Manfred doesn't have a spine, so he's not going to do that. He's a terrible commissioner.
But if that was the case, then he would say, forget that. Get the stadium going in Tampa tomorrow. Start the conversations. They'll work it out. They have the same bed tax that St. Pete does. And Stu, sorry, buddy, but you're not getting millions and millions of dollars up front.
But
it's going to be a process.
He's a terrible commissioner. Think about all the things that have gone on since he's been commissioner of baseball. They haven't been good things. Expand the playoffs.
He sure made a fun baseball season this year.
I mean, I agree. He is
Perfect
terrible,
World
but
Series.
even a blind squirrel finds a nut here and there. Like he might finally put some pants on and say, you know what, you're done.
He's not doing it.
One-
I don't trust that guy
one
would do
can
anything.
dream.
One can dream. Yeah, my final thoughts would be, while I want to be optimistic, I think in general, I think St. Pete was going to fail. And the fact that St. Pete looks like it's not going to happen either points to the best case outcome or the worst case outcome. Best case would be Rays in Tampa. Worst case being Rays are not in Florida anymore. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of sick of this middle ground. I'm kind of with Will, man. I'm kind of sick of waiting for the stadium, having to always think about it, talk about it. So, we kind of got some movement. We kind of got a point where something has to happen. And we'll see what happens. If I were to tell you what I think will happen, it's not the positive outlook. I think the worst thing will happen. I think there's a very high likelihood that our kids won't be able to watch Rays baseball locally, and that's sad. That is a sad thought, but I'll take it for the 30% chance that the Rays are in Tampa and they're thriving in Tampa. I'll do it. I'll make that risk.
It's gonna be tough. There really isn't a whole lot of land in Tampa that's as cheap as the gas plant district, so that's your problem number one. Number two, can't really build one at the fairgrounds because, not to get political here, the governor is not a fan of the Rays, and the state government owns the fairgrounds. So
Are you sure? Isn't there more stuff with like the Seminole Indians going on there? Though?
No, it's all controlled by the state government. They own the Hard Rock across the street, but the fairgrounds itself, that is the folks up in Tallahassee. And then to just kick the Yankees out, that's also a $300 million buyout apparently.
I mean, the land around Raymond James is realistic though.
It is.
So like that's probably the leading.
But then here's another issue. Then you get complaints from the Glazers and the Bucs because Raymond James is aging. The Bucs are pretty demanding of money for them because they want to renovate and make Raymond James a long-term Super Bowl contender to still host bowl games and concerts and stuff like that. So if you cough up all this money for the Rays, the Bucs are going to go, what about us? Why don't we get the money?
And that's where the J.P. Peterson same roof, dual roof renovation and new stadium comes into play.
And I would totally love that. I mean,
it would be awesome.
I think that would be perfect. For shame on anybody who thinks the optics of a baseball diamond during the NFL season are stupid. That is the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing ever.
It's pretty cool.
But I just don't know if the Bucs would want to play ball with that.
No, I'm saying, so the idea is Raymond James is here. It's renovated. It's new. Like, it's cleaned up, Jacksonville style, Miami style. And then there's Tampa Bay Rays Stadium here, and the roof slides across.
Okay, then you're dealing with getting rid of a lot of parking, and now you have two giant stadiums.
Parking garages, baby.
True.
Hey.
And then you got some fun stuff in the middle. If anybody is out there listening.
Joel's cooking right now.
I completely agree.
That's JPP. I won't take that. That's JP Peterson. But
hey, that would be sick.
It's an idea that's been out there. So I have a couple things that I want to add, then I'll be done. What's Stu's goal behind all this?
Money.
Quick grab. I think you've said it. We've all kind of said it. Is move the Rays, get the initial boost of money, and then pull out.
Yeah. So he just wants the money up front.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
It's cruel. All right. Now I'll this will be my closing thing. So I was listening to Locked On Rays. They're good. You know, we love you out there. But they said something that I wanted to bring up a little bit. They said that when a team moves, they rarely ever get a team back, and if it ever happens, it's not quick. But let me just bring up some teams that have moved and they got a team back really quick. The St. Louis Cardinals move. About 7 years later, they get the Rams. The Charlotte Hornets move. They get the Bobcats within 2 years. The Houston Oilers move. They get the Texans back in around 7 years. The Cleveland Browns move. They get the new version of the Browns back in about 3 years. And the Minnesota North Stars moved, and about 7 years later, they get the Wild. So,
Baltimore Colts.
Baltimore Colts was about 10 years later, and this is I'm trying to go off like 30 years. So, I say all this to say, screw the Rays. We've always hated the name anyways. Get out of town. We're bringing in the expansion team of 2032. And the name's going to be the Tampa Smokers, and it's going to be barbecue-based. We're going to be smoking pigs in the outfield. That's going to be the version of the Ray Tank. You're going to be able to watch the rotation of a pig being smoked.
Kind of like the Chop House with the Braves.
Yeah. The Omaha meats or something they're called.
Omaha steaks.
Yeah, the Omaha steaks.
Well, yeah.
Welcome to Major League Baseball.
What's a
Tampa Bay Smokers?
Heights Meat Market.
They're going to play they're going to play in Ybor City. And they're going to have good ownership, and within the first 10 years, we're going to win a World Series.
Whatever I got to do to get rid of Stu Sternberg, I'm down with. Whatever. Oof. It'll just go to his stuck-up son that probably exists. I don't know about. I don't know.
Is it true Stu's a Mets fan?
Yes.
And he has a box in the Mets stadium.
He's openly a Mets fan. The man's never even – I don't even know if he has a house in Tampa Bay.
Why did he buy the Rays?
Because the MLB was selling him at like a quarter price because all the Vince DeMolay stuff. Straight investment.
Where was Vinnick, man? Where were the Glazers?
Where? Oh.
The Glazers were in Buccaneer and that the soccer team city.
Yeah, do they still own? Isn't that what?
Because that's
Manchester United.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. Around the same time, the MLS was begging the Glazers to buy the Mutiny, the MLS team in Tampa, and they wouldn't do it. So it's like if they weren't buying the Mutiny. Like they weren't buying the Rays either.
You know that scene in Interstellar where he's like, no, no. That's me like trying to get Vinnick to buy the Rays
Please.
after it's at quarter price. He would have made a powerhouse.
We should have just gone back to 2017, and when we were wasting our money on Fortnite skins,
All crypto, and we buy the Rays.
we should have just put it all into Nvidia or whatever, and we'd be like billionaires.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being the Green Bay Packers and kind of like the fans like contribute $10 or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a good point you bring up, because why? I get we elect these officials, but why do we let what was it, 7 guys on that council dictate votes like this? Why don't you put that on the county vote? Let the county
That'd be
decide if they want to
sweet.
pay that with their taxes.
That's a good idea.
Seriously. Yeah.
I don't know if I was supposed to. Because I am a Hillsborough County resident now. I voted in the Pinellas County elections.
Uh-oh.
Would that get me in trouble?
They're going to get you for voter fraud, bro.
Oh, man. I probably shouldn't have admitted that. I saw people get arrested in the 2022 midterms for that stuff, too, in Florida. I'm cooked.
Yeah, why would you say that? It was an accident.
Chat, if you want to pay for my bail when it happens, please like and subscribe. Follow more TV3 stuff. We do these discussions all the time. We'll always keep you updated on all the recent, latest news. But now I think it's time. Are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
I'm good.
Now
Yeah,
it's
we're done.
time.
I got it out of me.
We're done. That
We'll
was a good transition.
We'll talk about this again in 3 to 6 months.
We'll talk
Probably
about it
again.
again next
Well,
week.
okay,
bro.
wait. Just happy trails, Jose Siri.
Oh, yeah,
He was traded to the
yeah.
Mets today for Eric Ornsey, 21.6 ERA.
No,
Maybe the Rays make him an all-star.
This is for sure. This is a big move. We can talk about this for a second because
Big move.
this is a big move because Jose Siri is a legitimate part of this team, man. Jose Siri has been on the Rays since 2022. 20 home run season, I think both years with the Rays. Serious pop, obviously we know his struggles with batting average, strikeout rate, some lackadaisical defense at the start of last year, but again, he's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. So, that being said, my question to you guys is this mean it's Johnny DeLuca season? Does this mean the Rays are looking for some center fielders on the market, maybe a cheaper one to try to boost up, or do you guys think it's Johnny DeLuca season?
Johnny DeLuca season.
Yeah.
And Magnum, I think they called him
Yeah.
up to the 40-man roster. So.
Ian Seymour, I think, was pulled up too. I don't know if he's a center fielder, but yeah, Mangum, I
And
think.
we saw Lovelady go too.
Austin
Austin
Shenton.
Shenton goes for a big. Do you hear about the big trade the Rays made with the Mariners?
What's up?
We got cash considerations for Shenton.
Yes.
Huge.
Huge.
Enjoy Yankees. When you get Juan Soto, just remember that.
Remember, we paid. We
We
paid the
helped.
bill.
We're paying for this contract year for Juan Soto.
We are. Joel, thoughts on Jose Siri being gone?
Okay, so I feel like with kind of the narrative going around right now with the Rays having to play in the Yankee Stadium, like free agents extra aren't going to be coming here, so it's definitely Johnny DeLuca season. Which is dumb though because the Yankees are like getting a really nice clubhouse for the home team right now. So again, the things that we want to tell you.
Fred McGriff claims that the Yankees have an ultra high-tech pitch machine that can simulate anybody's pitches in the MLB.
Dude, so we're going to be hitting like 400 next year?
Well, he wants to know if the Yankees will let us use it.
They better?
I hope so.
We're shelling out a lot of money for the stadium.
He
Yeah,
also
don't
thinks that the
let them
Rays-
take it out of their stadium. Don't
Fred
let them do
McGriff
it.
said the Rays will make the postseason this year.
Ooh, if he said
They should. They again. While we're on the subject of the Rays, they get the best pitching staff in baseball.
But they got no hitting.
We'll have to see. Hopefully, a free agent or two will come up. But
Brandon
you gotta
Lau's
remember-
back.
Brandon Lau's back. Yanni
for
Diaz
the
is
for
back.
the first 2 weeks.
Junior Caminero will have a full season under his belt. Jonathan Aranda showed a lot of promise at the end of last year. Could be coming into a big campaign. He was hurt last year. We thought maybe we'd see that from him at the beginning of last year, but he got hurt early on in the season. Johnny DeLuca was smoking hot at the end of last year. Josh Lowe, you gotta think he's coming for a bounce back year. I got a lot of faith in these Rays, especially new dimensions outside, different vibes in Tampa. I got a lot of faith in these Rays. Hoping for one established hitter that has postseason experience added to this lineup. Just one.
Can we get a hitter to
Just
be
one.
an all-star?
Maybe a catcher. Well, that's
we
going
had
to be Junior, bro.
We had the opportunity for Darno. Bring him back.
Just give
Danny
him-
Jansen to Tampa Bay. Let's make it happen.
Gosh.
No, that's a good move, man.
Give me Ben Rortvet, man.
We need power, bro. We need some pop.
He's got some pop.
Mm-mm.
Rortvet, yeah,
He's
got
Yanni
it.
Diaz simplified. All these muscles, not enough pop.
How many days until baseball season? Like, let's go.
We got, about 3 months till spring training?
Pitchers and catchers report in February.
Yeah, 3 months till that.
Maybe we'll get some good news before then, chap, but don't count on it. Let's get to a team. They haven't had the best news either. They haven't had maybe the season you were expecting or thinking in your mind. But there's still a chance. There's still a chance for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got a bye week. They got rested. Jamel Dean, he's back. Mike Evans, he's back. Long-time old friend Mike Edwards signs with the Bucs. He's back. That trio of safeties are all back together, and they're coming for blood.
Hopefully.
They will. I guarantee it.
All right.
And, despite all the negativity I've seen, all the hate, all the sadness and despair, I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to show all you guys that the Bucs are still a good team. They're still a playoff team, and that's right where they're headed because they're about to go out on a run, and it starts this Sunday against the New York Giants.
Yeah, I think we all got reminded during this bye week that the NFC South is always going to be wide open, especially when the Bucs aren't on top because Falcons got spanked by the Broncos. The Broncos apparently own the whole NFC South, being each team by double digits.
Yeah, Sean Payton, NFC South foe.
Yeah,
I have
4-0 versus the NFC South.
I have more respect for him now than ever.
yeah,
And he beat every team by an average of 22 points.
yeah. So he's spanking the NFC South. The Falcons are now a game and a half above the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We can just say that it's 2 games because obviously they have the tiebreaker. So that is a tough deficit, but it is doable. The Rays are also – stop it. The Buccaneers are also 2.5 games out the final wild card spot. The final wild card right now is the Washington Commanders, who the Bucs do have the tiebreaker over. So, again, Will's right. After all this frustration, and even if the Bucs – what makes me so angry is even if the Bucs had won 1 out of these last 4 games they lost, you'd feel like the Bucs are going to cruise into the playoffs. Just cruise into there.
And that's the thing, chat.
They could have.
I told you
should've.
they were going to be 5-5 at the bye week. I was 1 game off. And I'm not sweating. This was a tough schedule. And not to mention, I didn't think the Bucs were going to have a plethora of injuries. I didn't think that was going to happen, and I still thought they were going to be right around 500, maybe a game above, maybe a game below, but right around 500, and here they are. No need for concern.
Yeah,
No concern on my end.
In the Bucs play, we've said this last 2 weeks, we're saying it again. The Bucs play the easiest schedule remaining in the NFL. Starts this week, they're playing the New York Giants on the road. And a little poetically, Daniel Jones, who had his first career game that he played, was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He looked great, probably the best he's ever looked. Miraculous comeback. What was that, Matt Gay?
Isn't that when Matt Gay missed a field goal? Jameis Winston,
yeah, to Mike
glory
Evans.
drive,
Yeah.
gets him in field goal range, and Matt Gay messes it all up.
Dude, that game made me infuriated. I see that game in my nightmares, quite frankly. But Daniel Jones, his first game against the Bucs, and he gets benched right before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because the New York Giants are making a quarterback switch. They're going to go with Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Cutlass.
Tommy Cutlass is going to play against the Bucs, which I'm not going to lie, kind of scares me just a little bit. I feel like that guy has a little bit of magic. But overall, this should be a game that the Bucs control and win handily.
Yeah, a lot of surprise coming from my end, at least, is with Daniel Jones getting benched. I thought they'd hand it over to Drew Lock, SEC legend. Kind of scary. Give him the little I was a little scared for that, but they go to the third stringer, Tommy Cutlets, Mr. Tony Soprano. Dude, I'm scared. Like all the Italian heroes are going to come to this game.
Yeah.
The Rizzler.
Oh,
Los
man.
Pollos.
If the Rizzler's there, we might have problems, bro. We might have big time problems in MetLife.
And they show him on the. Yeah, it's gonna be serious.
That's gonna be bad.
Will Danny DeVito be in the building?
Oh man,
could be.
Who knows? But seriously, to your mention, Drew Lock has been the backup, so I think this is an open cry for tanking from the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let them win this game. Don't let it happen. The Bucs should win this game. They should win. They should walk away from this game feeling good, feeling confident, like they can do something they did last year, like they can do something they did in 2020, finish the season strong, and get in the playoffs. And they have no reason to. I mean, you look at the Giants. Got to look at Tyrone Tracy Jr. Very solid rookie running back. Has had a really nice rookie season. That's what I'm looking to say. But you slow him down, this offense is going to sputter. Their receivers have problems with drops. Malik Neighbors is pretty good, but a quarterback really hasn't been able to get him the ball that much throughout this season. And the other receivers just can't hold on to the ball. So this should be a game that the Bucs defense shows their old early season form. Something they kind of showed us against the 49ers. They should step up and do that. And then this is the game where Mike Evans comes back and he gets 200 yards and we stop worrying about his 1,000-yard streak.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Just to piggyback off your point there, yeah, this for me is a chance for this game is a chance for the defense to find their identity again, find what they're missing, find that physicality and that fast-paced, high-motor defense that Todd Bowles brings to the table. It's a perfect opportunity to do it, man. Even with Daniel Jones, the Giants average 15.9 points per game, the lowest in the NFL. So they struggle to put up points, guys. They already struggle to put up points. You look at one thing that the Bucs have struggled with all year is edge rushing. Yeah, all of them have about 2 sacks apiece, but that ties for 5th lowest on the Bucs roster for sacks. We need to get to the quarterback more coming from the edge. It can't just be Vita Vea up the middle. We're looking at Diaby. He can create a lot of pressures, but he needs to get home. We're looking at JTS. We're looking at Braswell. We need to see these guys step up. And this is the opportunity to do it because you look at the Giants tackles. They don't have Andrew Thomas. He's injured. He's not going to play. You look on the other side, they got Evan Neal. He's a young buck. He struggles mightily in pass blocking. So you have to attack. And like you said with the receivers, Malik Neighbors is like a Bugatti in a trailer park. Okay, he's got all the tools there, but he doesn't have the right fit. He's not at the right home. And then you look at the supporting cast, Wan'Dale Robinson. He was their leading receiver the last time the Giants played because they also had a bye week. There's not a lot of guys there to make plays.
Slayton. Yeah.
Hyatt. I thought he was a true.
Yeah, dude. He has. Again, he's on the Giants, so you can't really fairly judge him because he's had Daniel Jones throwing it to him his whole career. But definitely disappointing from him. I thought he was. 5 touchdowns against Alabama or something like that. I thought he was going to be a dog, man, but he was not.
He was not, unfortunately. But, yeah, this is a chance for the defense as a whole to come together, get that identity back, and set yourself up for the postseason run because it's going to happen. Get your spark back. This is a game to do it.
Absolutely. The energy should just be positive, and this Bucs fans should be able – there should be no worries. There should be no fourth-quarter deficit. Halftime deficit. This should be a game. You want to win this one, and you want to win it big. I think for me, 4-6, it's a tall task, and for me to want to fully buy in and believe in this, I need to see a convincing win from the Bucs. There's no reason they shouldn't do it. The Bucs should be better. They're, you could maybe say Bengals, but this is probably about as good of a 4-6 team as you're gonna get. This team should have 2 to 3 extra wins. They've found crazy ways to lose games. It has been frustrating as heck, and they're still in the picture. They're still right there. They still have a boatload of talent, probably more talent than we even expected going into the season. A lot of people have emerged. People have had to play bigger roles because of injuries and are going to be able to step back and be nice step pieces that have had experience, which could be very valuable going into a playoff run. And the Bucs just need to win this one and win it handily. No, I want to hear boo birds. I want to see an empty stadium by the fourth quarter. Win it big.
Yeah. And I think they should. Are we ready to predict?
Joel, anything you want to predict? You ready?
I'll be the negative guy. So Todd Bowles' record after a bye as a head coach is 1-5 at this point. It looks like 1-5 from what I'm seeing. So,
Do you think you're gonna lose to the Giants?
He might be in his head. He might be in his head. This might just be the way he goes. Like 2 weeks, you get in your head a little bit too much. So we'll see.
What's the score, Joel?
I'll go win. Just you naturally gotta with this. But I mean, to put some hesitation on the table, to look on the other side of the fence and say, I mean, Todd Bowles could be overthinking this one just a little bit, especially with the Giants, and as well over the course of Buccaneers history, rookie quarterbacks first and second game they look like football gods against the Bucs, regardless of the head coach. But I gotta go win. Like, I'd be stupid to pick a loss here, so I'm gonna go 30-27. It'll be close.
Whew, that's scary. I'll go second, Will. I think the Bucs win. I think they win handily. DeVito, the rookie thing is real, but Tommy DeVito, it's his first game of the season, but he had that whole insanity run last year, so I think the magic's gone. He got benched for Daniel Jones. That says something. Give me the Bucs. Give me them big. Give me 5 sacks for the Tampa Bay defense. Give me Mike Evans 100-plus receiving yards. Give me Baker Mayfield and the Bucs offense no turnovers, and give me a 33-14 win.
Yeah, I think the Bucs are going to win this game pretty easily. I don't know about a super high score. I think the Giants' defense is just good enough to keep them in this game, but I think the Bucs kind of have an easy game and run away with it. Give me 24-12. Tampa Bay wins. No touchdown scored for the Giants, all field goals.
Nice.
Very cool. Wow. I have breaking news. Don't even look at it. The curse has been broken.
I know it. I wish I saw it.
The curse has been broken. The recording of TB3 curse is broken. Alert, alert. The Tampa Bay Lightning have won a game when TB3 records their episode. They won 3-2, overcoming a 2-0 deficit in the third period to win in overtime. Braden Point in his return game gets a goal and then a overtime game-winning goal. 2 on the game, 3-2 Lightning win.
Good for them, man.
That's awesome.
I was watching most of that game before we started filming, and they had outplayed Pittsburgh for most of that game. So, good job to find a way to win, even in overtime. Yikes.
Yeah, but in general, the Lightning also had their circa bye week, if you want to call it. They had a week off in between their game against the Flyers, which was a loss in the shootout. We talked about it last week. Pretty tough loss, a game that we felt like the Lightning should have won. And then they were at home, so they were on a 2-game homestand before this one against the Penguins on the road. 2-game homestand, and their first game was a massive one as they hosted the 15-1. Yes, you heard the 15-1 Winnipeg Jets, a team that had not lost a road game the entire season. And all they did was beat those guys 4-1 to get Andrei Vasilevsky's 300th career win. He's the fastest goaltender ever to get the 300 career wins. How do we feel about this game? Because it was a really, really good one.
Yeah, let me just start off by saying, holy smokes, that Gensel, Kucherov, and Nick Paul line to start the game was absolutely phenomenal. Just high-flying. I loved seeing that so much, and then they get rewarded with the turnover by Nick Paul and a no-look pass behind the back for Gensel to take the one.
It wasn't behind the back. It was between the legs.
Behind the back, between the legs, yeah. It was absolutely unreal. I loved what I saw because, the Jets are coming in this game high-flying. They had won 7 in a row, and I'd say that was the most complete game I've seen from the Lightning all year. Maybe the next game was even more complete. Well, I don't know. They had a little bit of it. We'll get into it. But, yeah, just an absolute complete performance by them and a huge, huge win to snuff the flame of the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, we broke the Jets because they played the Panthers right after that, and they lost 5-0. So, in total, they came to Florida and were outscored 9-1.
Wow, and they doubled.
Cup runs through Florida.
Yeah, and they went from 1 loss to 3 losses on the season. Just like that. It's crazy.
They're broken.
They're broken. But, yeah, all seriousness, I love what I've been seeing from Jake Gensel. He has been dynamic. 2 goals in this game. Just killing it on that first line. He's just been even when the Lightning were down, he's been in the mix of everything. He's really solidifying being that second best player on the team and really giving Kucherov a run for his money. That's how good Jake Gensel has been. Really impressed with him and really impressed with Vazzy, man. 23 saves on 24 shots. His next game might have been just a little bit better, but really, really complete game, like you mentioned. I think, to hold this high-flying Jets team to only one goal, defensively, goaltending-wise, only 24 shots, which is pretty freaking good for the Lightning, especially against a high-scoring team. It's very, very impressive. I was just very impressed with the whole total team effort from the Lightning.
Yeah, total team effort. Vazzy, of course, congrats to him. 300 wins. That is absolutely incredible. I want to give another shout-out to a player that really stood out to me. That was Brandon Hagel. Making the most of his opportunities late in the first period, taking shot after shot, causing turnovers, causing havoc, especially shorthanded, and then he gets rewarded with a goal of his own in the start of the second period. Shout out to him. He had a great game. And also a huge deal. That was the Anthony Cirelli power play goal was a first
I was just about
power
to say
play
that.
goal at home for the Lightning.
That's crazy.
We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
And we heated up a little bit. We've had multiple in the last couple games.
I don't mean to start a tangent or a narrative, but there's been a lot of reports about the Nashville Predators' very disappointing start to their season. Their GM, former coach Barry Trotz, has come out and said if they don't get it together, they're going to have to start their rebuild plan. And, all I'm saying is after all this whole Stammer away from Tampa thing could just be like a bad dream if he comes back to the Bay at the trade deadline. Because it's pretty clear what the Lightning need is power play production.
Yeah.
Like that is their weakest link. And Stamkos is not on a crazy deal, and I'm sure the Lightning have been able to circumvent and navigate the cap situation a bunch. I'm just saying, we could be. I'm just throwing it out there just to get it in people's minds. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's in my mind now. Yeah.
It would be awesome. It would literally be just like, oh, that was a bad dream. That'd be like one of the funniest things. Like 10 years from now, we're like, what the heck is that picture of Steven Stamkos in a Preds uniform? What even is that? Is that AI? No, he was there for 3 months. It would just be insane.
That's like the Yankees closer when he went to the Cubs for the World
Chapman?
Series. Yeah, like that's a dream. Like Aroldis Chapman as a Cub is it just like a weird dream?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Are we ready to go to the Devils game?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this was another really good one. It was a shutout for Vazzy. I think, his second of the season?
Second of the season,
Yep,
yes.
29 saves on 29 shots. Jake Gensel, again, 2 points, 2 assists. Victor Hedman got in the action with a goal. A screamer on the power play, like Joel mentioned. Another power play goal at home. That was 2 in 2 games after their little bye week, as opposed to 0 in however many home games they played before. And, 2 defensemen goals in this game with Darren Radish and Victor Hedman. So what did you guys see in this one?
Which is what you want to see. And I know I brought it up a couple weeks ago of something that can help the power play, and that's giving Darren Radish more opportunities to shoot the puck. He's got one of the best slap shots, the best 1-2s. And I know that goal didn't come off the power play, but you get a clutch face-off win by Anthony Cirelli, passes it out, and wham, right into the back of the net. Darren Radish with a huge goal. And then, Victor Hedman. You want to see more guys step it up. We need that. We need those guys to step up. And again, this goes back to my point as well. I think earlier in the season, a lot of times, and I said this a couple weeks ago, everybody's just focused on Kucherov. They're not worried about anybody else. They're not. And what happens on the Victor Hedman goal is exactly that. All the Devils flee to Kucherov. What does he do? He passes it for Victor Heddy to hit a beautiful 1-T. And that's exactly what you need. You need guys to take big shots like that. You need to have teams thinking about other people besides Kucherov.
And speaking of other people besides Kucherov, got to give a lot of props to Anthony Cirelli. This was a guy that I was calling for some more action from last episode, and he immediately, came through for me. I felt like he was listening to the show, which they obviously do in the locker room. If you guys didn't know, that's what the Lightning and the Bucs and the Rays do, is they listen to kind of help them before games. They listen to TV2 Sports Talk. But in all seriousness, 2 goals, 2 games for Anthony Cirelli. We've kind of been craving that second and third line, just production. The first line has been so good, whether it was Point, whether it was Paul with Gensel and Kucherov. This first line has been so good, and we've kind of been looking for, Hagel, Paul, even some of those younger guys, Chafee. He's been pretty good, but
Essimont.
Essimont. I would love to see him getting that scoring action, and Anthony Cirelli, for these guys to kind of, pitch in and get some more production out of the second and third lines. And they did it. And to get, a couple goals from Cirelli, especially on the power play, which is the second unit on power play in that last game, is huge. It's so huge when this team is getting support for their stars. Their stars are about as good as anyone's. So if the stars are getting support, this team can beat any team in the league.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. And I think something else I saw in the game, and this is why I said they didn't play a complete game, but this is where you're so happy you have Andrei Vasilevsky. This guy is absolutely unreal because I think in that second period, and believe it or not, the New Jersey Devils are the best team in the NHL statistically in the second period. And I'd say that's where the Lightning kind of let the foot off the gas a little bit and made some sloppy turnovers and some errors. But, oh my goodness, staring down Devils players, nobody around them, taking free shots of Vasilevsky, and he shut it down completely. What a performance by him. And it's just one of those games you're reminded of how good he is and how valuable he is for the team.
He's not slowing down either. Like, I thought he might slow down this year. He's not.
He's so crucial to this team. Like, he has to be, one of your stars because he is a star. He's one of the best goaltenders in the league when he's right. We know last year was not his best just based off the injury, the early season, the being out of whack, that stuff.
I think he's found himself at this point in his career. He finally realizes he's not the young buck he once was. He's willing to take some time off, and it's showing on the ice.
Yeah, I think he's adjusting to it. I think that's a good notice. I think he's been really, really good, especially these 2 games. And he is very, very important to the Lightning. There's no doubt about it. The pace and the passing that they do, sometimes it just creates giveaways. It does. There's going to be odd man rushes. There's so much skill in this Lightning team, especially on the top, that sometimes you can just kind of outskill yourself and you lose the puck. Even the greatest players do. Kucherov, Gensel, they will turn the puck over. Point will turn the puck over. And to have that wall back there in Vasilevsky is so huge for this team. And I think having that kind of helps them play a little bit more free. And that's kind of shown these last couple games.
Yeah. You want to limit the turnovers, though.
For sure.
You want to limit them.
But they're just going to happen. It's good to have that guy back there, like you mentioned, to weather the storm.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, we were recording, so we couldn't see much of this Lightning game, but it does seem like against the Penguins, the Lightning kind of just got benefited in that third period for controlling the game for the most part in the first and second.
Yeah, we controlled the puck. We probably had the puck like 80% of the game for the first and second period. I didn't catch the third, but
yeah, definitely.
It was a work of art.
We outshot them, I want to say, unless
35-19.
Yeah, wow. Outshot them, out-physicaled them.
29-20 face-offs win. This is a game the Lightning just needed to win.
Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. You're playing a team like the Penguins. They didn't have Chris Letang out there, but they still got Malkin and the great Sidney Crosby. I'm gonna say go. I don't know why. The great Sidney Crosby. They're at home. They're gonna get some greasy goals. They're gonna get some lucky shots in there. But it's just about weathering the storm. I think a lot of times we've seen them play bad and put themselves in holes, and then it makes it hard for them to come back. But this one, your hard work pays off. You didn't. You stayed the course. You continued to outplay them, and you got rewarded in overtime.
You accidentally said goat, and I think you have a point. I'll take Crosby over Ovechkin prime any day of the week.
I will, but I don't think I'm taking him over Gretzky.
No, I'm sorry, not Gretzky, Ovechkin.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm not taking either of them over Cooch.
Crosby's got something. I love Crosby.
Crosby's really good. I'm not gonna lie though. I'm a McDavid truther. I don't know. Sorry. That's just my opinion.
He's like Russell Westbrook, bro.
Crosby's a winner.
He's a stat
winner.
He's a stat powder.
But nah, some of the stuff he does on the rink is crazy, man. McDavid's insane. They're all insane.
How many rings does he have?
Okay,
0.
Sorry, he's playing in poverty.
He's not. They're stacked. The Oilers are stacked.
Well, they almost did it last year.
And they got embarrassed.
Well, they lost Game 7.
Yeah, but they should have got swept, honestly.
They should have. Man, that would have been glorious. The Panthers blew that.
Panthers were just taking a couple off days. They're celebrating early. Hey, sometimes it happens.
Happens to the best of us. Yeah, also, the Lightning have a lot, and this is going to be a jinx, but I'm going to say it anyways. The Lightning have not lost on an overtime goal yet this year. Lost in a shootout, won a couple overtime games, have not lost in overtime yet. So, gotta give shout out
maybe
that.
you reverse jinx it, because when I brought it up the last time that they had a streak of losing in overtime, it set them on a wrong course. So now that you bring up the fact that they're winning, it'll put us on the right course. And you also shaved your face.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Tampa Bay teams or teams that I root for in general, they're unstoppable right now because I shaved my face. It's huge.
The reverse no shave November.
Yeah, it is. And we'll get into this TB3U. Check it out if you're listening now. We'll talk about all our college teams because it's more prevalent than that because there was a big curse broken, and I'm going to take some credit for it. But
my last thing on hockey is I hate the new bye week thing, but Lightning are 3-0 after it.
It helped.
Gotta like it.
It for sure helped.
They have not won in November.
Until this week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. So shout out the bye week. Man, hopefully the Bucs can do what the Lightning did off the bye week. There we go. Foreshadowing. One Tampa team to another. We'll predict some of these games. The Lightning have a few before we're going to record again. Thursday night, they head to Columbus. Rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau, by the way. So sad. First time there since that incident happened. Thursday, 7 p.m. in Columbus. Then on Saturday, they are back home, 7 p.m. Gonna wear those black jerseys that they grow on me every time I see them.
Matte black helmets.
They're grown. They've grown.
Every time I see them, they grow on me. Stars at home Saturday, 7 p.m. And then Monday, we probably won't at home again. Avalanche at Lightning. That's 3 games we'll predict. So at Blue Jackets, Stars at home, Avalanche at home.
Yeah, obviously tough. I think you should be able to take care of business against Columbus. So I'll get the win there. Stars are going to be a tough game, and the Avs are going to be a tough game. But, the Lightning don't seem to really have a problem with the Avs in the regular season. It's just the postseason. So I think the Lightning will take, I think they'll go 2-1. They'll lose. They might lose to the Stars. It's probably the only game I think they might not win. But I think they got the Avs easy, and they'll take care of business against Columbus.
Yeah, that's my exact thoughts as well.
I think 2-1 too. So we're boring this week, but
boring.
2-1. Yeah, I think. You know what? Give me a Mikey Esimon goal. Give it to me.
That's who I was going to pick.
Frick. Sorry, Will.
I'll take Sorelli.
That's a good one.
I'll go Hedman. He's getting a little toasty.
I like
getting
it.
a little toasty.
I like it. I love it. Defenseman goals just make me so happy. There's something about him.
Yeah, give me more J.J. Moser ones because he deserves it. He deserves them.
He's scrappy. Love him. Such a good trade. But yeah.
Are we boring or are we confident?
We're confident.
That's right.
Yeah, heck yeah. So yeah, support your Lightning this weekend. 2 big games at home against the Stars and Avalanche. 2 quality teams. Head out to Amalie Arena. Support the guys. Watch the Bucs on Sunday at 1 p.m. on CBS. They're playing at the Giants. Support them from home. Go to a watch party. Have a good day. Let's have the Bucs start a winning streak this Sunday. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Comment down below your thoughts on the Rays Stadium. In 5 years, where will the Rays be playing? Tell us down below. Where will the Rays be playing? Will they be in Tampa? Will they be in St. Pete? Will they be in Nashville? Will they be in Montreal? Will they be in Afghanistan? Who knows? Charlotte? Maybe Charlotte. Let us know what your predictions are for that. Give us some thoughts on Bucs and Lightning. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I hope you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're posting content, bunch of stuff. We love, showing you guys and talking Tampa Bay sports on the socials as well. So follow that. Spotify 5 stars. Follow the channel on Spotify. Yep. And also, most importantly, have a beautiful and blessed night.